Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves podcast channel. In today's video, it's going to be the 79th Gooners and Gloves podcast, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and reactions to the Champions League final between Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. Obviously, this is something a bit different as I've never done a video which hasn't been about an Arsenal game. Normally, all my football games are just about Arsenal games because obviously I'm an Arsenal channel, but I thought as a special one-time treat, why not go over the Champions League final? Obviously, the Champions League final is a massive game, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it, so please let me know down below if you guys want me to do this a bit more often, maybe for like the big cup finals such as this one, maybe giving my thoughts on some non-Arsenal related games. So if you guys want to see me doing stuff like this more often, please let me know. So hopefully you guys enjoy a one-time treat going over a different game, obviously the Champions League final. I'm really excited for it. It's about 30 minutes to go before kickoff now, so it's obviously, it's very close now, and this is always an exciting game. The Champions League final is always massive, and it's a game that ultimately, whether our team is in it or not, we just look forward to. So it's at the Allianz Arena. Obviously it's a very exciting style clash here. Inter Milan a bit more defensive, whereas Paris Saint-Germain is a super explosive and attacking team. Obviously it's Inzaghi versus Enrique, which presents its own interesting style clashes. So all in all, I think it's going to be a really exciting final between two different styles, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, pretty much I don't want to ramble too much in this intro. In terms of the format of the video, it'll be the exact same as my normal Arsenal reactions. Intro now, half one, half two, and of course penalties and extra time if we get there. So pretty much I'm going to go on and just move on to the first half analysis. I don't want to ramble on too much. As I said before, please let me know down below if you want me to do this more often. But yeah, here we go. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan at the Allianz Arena in the Champions League final. I'll catch you guys for the first half analysis. Okay guys, so I just got finished watching the first half, and oh my word, what an incredible first half performance by Paris Saint-Germain. That was incredible. I mean, I just have to give them so much props. I've got to give so much props to the PSG players and also to Luis Enrique, because so far they've absolutely smashed it. I mean, incredible first half, just dominated Inter Milan from start to finish, and the scoreline's 2-0, but it really could be more. Like, it arguably should be even more. So fair play to Paris Saint-Germain. I gotta give them credit. Incredible. I mean, seriously, I've not seen Inter Milan dominated like that. It's unreal. Like, I genuinely cannot put into words how incredible that first half performance was from PSG, and PSG now have put themselves in a very good position to lift their first ever Champions League trophy. Obviously we can't count Inter Milan out, and I'm certainly not going to, because you never know what could happen, but you'd imagine that PSG have put themselves in a very strong position to now lift their first ever Champions League trophy. And incredible, 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes, so many chances, absolute domination, just incredible. So first thing we need to talk about is PSG's counter-attack. PSG's counter-attacking is absolutely lethal. Seriously, that counter-attack is devastating, and Inter Milan, like, they were just they were counter-attacked the whole time. Like, don't get me wrong, PSG had more possession, more passes, etc. Like, they had more of the ball, but despite that, those counter-attacks were absolutely lethal from PSG, and seriously, devastating counter-attack. Arguably, PSG has arguably the best counter-attack in football right now, and they certainly showed that tonight with brutal counter-attacks. I mean, seriously, Inter Milan were just getting ripped apart on that counter. It was just incredible to see. So let's quickly go on and get into the goals. So the first goal came in the 12th minute from Achraf Hakimi. It was a really good ball from Desiree Doué, and Hakimi with a simple tap-in. Initially, though, it was Vitinha with a fantastic ball to Doué, and Vitinha also did really well to stay on side as well, so props to him, because at first I thought that maybe he may have strayed offside, but props to him. He held his run really well, stayed on side, played it across to Doué squared it across, and it was a nice and simple finish for Hakimi, his 4th goal in the Champions League this season. And obviously that was a massive moment, and from there the PSG fans came to life. They got the flares going, and from there it was just absolute domination from PSG following that. And just 8 minutes later, in the 20th minute, Desiree Doué with a really good finish. So it was actually Ousmane Dembele who made a good run, played it across to Desiree Doué, and then Doué with the volley, and it actually did deflect off of Dimarco and went in. So Doué volleyed it, and then it deflected off Dimarco, beat Sommer, and from there it's just unreal. Like, incredible performance from PSG, 2-0 up in the opening 20 minutes, and they didn't relent. I mean, the whole half they pressed like crazy, they counter-attacked, they absolutely just were incredible, like, just so explosive. I mean, I said at the start of the video that PSG are very explosive, and they absolutely are. I mean, they were so explosive the whole half. Even after the 2 goals, they didn't relent for a second. They didn't give Inter Milan a second to breathe. Every single ball they chased down, they just completely bombed down both flanks incredibly. Obviously Doué and Kvaratskhelia, completely just incredible down those flanks, but then you also had Nuno Mendes and Hakimi just absolutely running down those flanks. So those left and right flanks were absolutely incredible, and they just completely bombed down them, and they were so explosive, and it was incredible to see. Admittedly, from about the 30th minute onwards, I think that Inter Milan slowly but surely started to grow a bit into it. Like, they did create some good opportunities. In particular, one really good chance was for Marcus Thuram, who headed it just wide. That was a good opportunity. I think DeMarco also had a solid chance as well. So definitely, they started to create a couple of opportunities, but just nowhere near enough. Like, you know, they created a couple small opportunities, you know, here and there, and gradually from about the 30th minute onwards, they slowly but surely, like, sort of found their way back in. But even then, PSG just immediately responded. I mean, PSG themselves had some other really good opportunities. Doué with a shot that went just wide. Kvaratskhelia with a header at the end of the first half that was only just wide as well. So definitely, like, PSG arguably should have scored more. So yeah, you know, Inter Milan slowly but surely found their way back in, but it just wasn't enough. And PSG so far are just looking so good. And I've got to just give them so much credit. As I said, it's definitely not over yet. We know that. End of the day, 2-0 is the score. And, you know, many teams have come back from 2-0 down. You know, this isn't over. But that being said, PSG are undoubtedly in a very strong position to win their first ever Champions League. And yeah, it was just a very explosive, very good performance from PSG. I'd imagine that now maybe they'll start defending slightly more because, you know, now they've got a good lead that they'll obviously want to hold on to, because in the first half, even after scoring the goals, they weren't really defending. They were still just going attack. And don't get me wrong, they may very well just keep that up. Absolutely, they may. But I'd imagine that maybe now they'll start defending a bit more. And obviously in Inter Milan's case, they've got to just go for broke. Like, that's all they can do now. They're 2-0 down. So, you know, obviously who knows what you know, what Inzaghi's going to say to them at halftime. Who knows what he could possibly say to them. I mean, I don't personally know. I honestly don't know what you could possibly say to them. Like, they had a couple of small opportunities, but they just really did not show very much in that first half, and they were just absolutely outplayed by PSG. You know, I don't want to just completely just only praise PSG, but I mean, what else can I say? Like, they were just so good in that first half. It was just a terrific plan that they've executed to perfection. And again, you got to give credit to Luis Enrique for his tactics and to the PSG players for how determined they are. So yeah, but anyway, end of the day, as I said, it's not over yet. There's still an opportunity for Inter Milan to maybe do something, but you'd imagine that Inter Milan will have to score early. I mean, they can't leave it too late. Like, really, Inter Milan's going to have to score in the first, like, 5 to 10 minutes of the half. I mean, ideally, they would have pulled one back before the end of half time, and as I said, they could have with the Marcus Thuram header and the DeMarco chance, but it just didn't quite happen for them. So, yeah, but anyway, a very, very exciting first half. So, Hakimi and Doué with the goals, and Doué and Dembele with the assists. Obviously, a fantastic day for Desiree Doué, a goal and an assist in the Champions League final. Can't really get too much better than that. And, of course, Hakimi and Dembele pitching in as well. Vitinha also did really well in the half. And I think generally just the midfield, I think Vitinha and Neves, etc., just really, really smashed it in that first half. They just completely controlled that midfield. And again, it was just those brutal counter-attacks, just bombing down the flanks, bombing down the middle, and just absolutely just going for it, PSG. And you got to just give them credit for that. The stamina is incredible, the pace, everything like that. But anyway, that's kind of a summary of the first half. So all in all, a very, very PSG heavy half. A couple of small flashes of moments for Inter Milan, but all in all, probably about 95% of the half was just all PSG. Absolute domination, incredible performance. And I can't personally see how they can mess this up now, but it's football, you never know. So anyway, I'll catch you guys for the second half. All in all, a very, very good performance in the first half. Hakimi and Doué with the goals, and Doué and Dembele with the assists. But yeah, I'll catch you guys for the second half analysis. Okay guys, so I just got finished watching the second half and I'm absolutely mind blown. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. It ends an astonishing 5-0 for Paris Saint-Germain, and you just have to respect them. Like, congratulations. I don't know what else I can say but that. Congratulations. Listen, they may have eliminated us, they may have eliminated Arsenal, but I can't possibly hate on them. They were unreal tonight. Massive respect. Enrique, the squad, you just have to applaud them. They smashed it tonight. They completely smashed out the park. 5-0 in a Champions League final is genuinely absurd. Like, that is crazy. And 5-0 again is flattering. I've got to just be honest, it's flattering. It should have been more. This genuinely could have been about 8 to 10 goals, honestly. It was just ridiculous. It was an incredible performance. Obviously, the first half was incredible and the second half was even better. A further 3 goals scored, even more chances created. It was just pure and utter decimation from PSG right from the beginning. So I'm just going to go over the goals. I'll try not to talk about talk for too long, because otherwise I'll be here for ages, but I'm just going to focus on the goals and the assists in the half. So obviously Doué scored again. Desiree Doué, what a day for him. Absolutely incredible. 19 years old with 2 goals and an assist in the Champions League final. I mean, that truly is incredible. Obviously, he got super happy, took a shot off, celebrated, understandably so. Massive props to him. He's obviously an incredible prospect, one of the best prospects in world football, and he smashed it. Incredible performance from him, 19 years old, 2 goals and an assist, a really nice finish, got the ball, beautiful finish into the bottom right corner to beat Sommer and make it 3-0, and I think this is the point we all accepted it was over. Like, even in the first half, you already kind of got the feeling that this is going to be a long day for Inter Milan, but as soon as that third goal went in and he took his shirt off and celebrated and the fans just went crazy, that's when you just knew this was going to be a very long night for Inter Milan. Fantastic goal from Doué. A second finish. Obviously, he did get booked for taking his shirt off, understandably, and Enrique literally immediately took him off, and that's fair. I mean, at that point, it was 3-0. The game was clearly over, and remember, Paris Saint-Germain do have the Club World Cup in a couple of weeks, so obviously they wanted to save Desiree Doué for that, which is completely understandable, but yeah, massive performance by Desiree Doué, incredible, fair play to him. Like, what, you know, one of the best young prospects in world football, one of the best young players in world football, and just an incredible talent. Really, really impressive stuff. 2 goals and an assist, 2 genuinely very well taken goals, and a very nice assist. Props to him. Kvaratskhelia also scored. Kvaratskhelia with a really nice goal. He'd missed a couple of good opportunities prior to the goal, and I could tell that he was getting really frustrated, but I'm not gonna lie, I had a feeling he'd score as well, and he did. A really good ball received, and Kvaratskhelia completely just drives to the box, and a really, really nicely taken finish into the top left. Beautiful finish to beat Sommer and make it 4-0, and it was just unreal. And then, of course, one of the young players, Mayulu, I think that's how you say his name, Mayulu, who also scored a beautiful finish. Bradley Barcola squares the ball across, and what a goal this was. This was an absolutely sensational finish. Hits the left post and just completely beats Sommer, hits the left post, goes in, and again, you could see how much it meant to him. Obviously, Mayulu hasn't gotten that many minutes. He hasn't gotten to play that much, but he got put on in the final, and props to him. Took his opportunity, got a goal, and yeah, unreal performance to wrap up a sensational performance. Obviously, some really good assists as well. Dembele provided a nice assist, Vitinha, and also Barcola. Speaking of Bradley Barcola, I'm not gonna lie, Bradley Barcola should honestly have had a hat-trick tonight. Like, he only came on for the final 20 or so minutes of the game, but honestly, he should have had a hat-trick. He had so many great opportunities, hit the crossbar for one of them, and missed a couple of other sitters. So I could tell he was gutted about that, but he did get a really nice assist for Mayulu's goal, which was cool to see. But all in all, just an absolute demolition job from Paris Saint-Germain. And listen, obviously, I would have loved to see a competitive final. I would have loved to be able to talk to you guys about a competitive final. And just in general, I think the UEFA finals, you know, from the perspective of finals, haven't been the best. Obviously, the Europa League final was really boring. The Conference League final was uncompetitive, and obviously the Champions League final was uncompetitive. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it would have been nice to see a competitive final, but obviously I have to just applaud PSG. I can't possibly not. Like, massive respect to them, and it was really cool seeing the quality of the goals, and all goals were really quality and really well worked, and it honestly could have been a lot more. And yeah, obviously I don't want to repeat myself too much. There just isn't anything else to say. Like, Inter Milan were just completely swept away in that second half. You know, initially early on in the half, they created a couple of opportunities and they did end up getting a couple of shots on target, but there was just never really any urgency, never really any threat, and yeah, it just didn't feel like there was any urgency. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, it just felt like nothing went their way. You know, there was one penalty call which was waved off. Bissek actually came on, and only about 5 minutes later got injured and came off. You could just really start to feel like just nothing was going Inter Milan's way tonight, and it just simply was not Inter Milan's night, and that's just the truth of it. But that takes nothing away from Paris Saint-Germain. They were absolutely incredible tonight, and you just have to give them nothing but props. Obviously, you know, they eliminated Arsenal, so I'm gutted about that, but you know, I have to be objective here, and they absolutely deserved it tonight. I mean, they were incredible. They dominated the game from start to finish. So all in all, it concludes 5-0 for PSG. Goals from Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Mayulu, assists from Dembele, Vitinha, Barcola, Doué, etc, etc. So all in all, a fantastic night and a very, very good performance by Paris Saint-Germain, and I've got to give it all the props in the world. There's not really much more I can say about that. So what we know now is it will be Tottenham Hotspur versus Paris Saint-Germain in the UEFA Super Cup final. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspur Europa League winners and Paris Saint-Germain Champions League winners. So that will be the Super Cup final. That's the other thing to talk about. So that will be an interesting game. Obviously, you'd imagine that PSG are massive favourites for that now, and as an Arsenal fan, it would obviously be amazing to see PSG win that game. But alas, that's besides the point. So that brings an end to the 2024-25 season. Obviously, unless you count the Club World Cup, in which case fair enough. But as far as I'm concerned, that now officially brings to a conclusion of the 2024-25 season. So I want to thank you all so much for for being here with me. I really want to thank you all for being here with me throughout the season. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm really looking forward to next season. We also are currently at 115 subscribers, which I want to give you guys massive thank you for. So yeah, but all in all, that's going to do it for this video. An absolutely incredible performance by PSG, 5-0 to win their first ever Champions League. History is made. I mean, this has just been a season of history being made in terms of like clubs either winning trophies for the first time or breaking long trophy droughts. Spurs did it, Crystal Palace did it, Newcastle did it, Bologna did it, and now PSG have won their first ever Champions League. So it's just one of those seasons where everything just seemed to go the way of the underdogs. But fair play to them, massive respect to PSG for their performance tonight. And yeah, that's going to do it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Please let me know if you want me to do this more going forward, if you want me to maybe cover some of the big games or something like this, just like the big games that Arsenal aren't involved in. If you guys want me to, please let me know. But of course, this is an Arsenal channel, so it will be Arsenal focused. Hopefully some deals start to get over the line so I can start making some transfer news videos. There's obviously a lot going on, you know, Sesko, Gyökeres, you know, Nico Williams, Rodrigo, etc. There's loads of stuff happening. Berto and Arteta are certainly get to work, so hopefully I can start making some more transfer videos. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day. Please let me know down below what you thought of PSG's performance, and I'll catch you guys at another podcast soon. Bye bye.